Okay, Ronnie.
Hi, this is Ronny Kaplan from Computer Training Solutions, and I work with individuals and corporate groups to help people become more proficient working with Microsoft Office products. And today we're going to work on PowerPoint and learn what Slide Masters can do for you.
Awesome. Well, let's get started.
Okay. So I've got a very simple presentation up here that all of you should be able to see, and it has 9 slides to it. And I want to talk about Slide Masters, and the point of the Slide Master is to enable you to format all of your slides consistently, quickly, easily, without having to format one by one by one. And I'm sure, as you know, sometimes this is a very small presentation, but sometimes you might have 40, 50, 60 slides in a presentation, and you certainly don't want to be adjusting bullets and logos and text fonts and sizes on every slide, because it's too time-consuming and it doesn't result in a really consistent, neat look. So before we get up to Slide Masters, I kind of want to work up to that and work up to it by first talking about designs or themes, and those terms are used interchangeably. So I'm going to say, let's say we wanted to start a brand new slideshow. So I'm just going to do a File, New, and just click on blank. So we have just a title slide. And if I wanted to give this a look that was a little more attractive than just plain white with black lettering, I would go to the Design tab, and these are all what they call themes or designs. And all of these are available to you to apply to, and notice, since we have live preview, they're showing me what it would look like on my title slide as I hover my cursor over them. And they would not only be available on the title slide, but once I apply the design, it's going to come on all of the slides. So let's say I pick one and I apply that. And then I decide I need to add, but I don't like something about the color or the font or something. So all of these designs or themes contain various variants, which are right here next to it on that Design tab. And the variants include color or color scheme. So if I switch to a different color scheme, I've changed that. It also includes various fonts and font combinations. Frequently, the font on the title is not the same as the font in the regular text. Sometimes it is the same, sometimes it isn't. So I'm going to pick something that looks different so you can see it affected the fonts. We also have different effects. So if you have graphics, one of these effects would show up, like glowing edges and so forth. So we don't have any graphics on there now. And background style. So if you wanted it to make it, let's say, gradient instead of a solid, and you want to push the gradient to a different, oh, this is just affecting the background edge, the gradient. Okay, so you can affect many changes by controlling those various variants. And obviously, if I add new slides to this, typically title and content, the new slides of various layouts will not have as much graphics and color as the title, but they will still carry on the look of the same design or theme. Okay, now if you customize it like I did for this one, and you then want to use that new customized theme as your own for future presentations, you can go back to the Design tab and drop down the various designs and say Save the current theme. And you can see that it puts it in automatically will put it into a Document Themes folder under the Templates folder. And all you'd have to do is give it a name, and notice it saves it with a specific type extension on the file, THMX, and so forth. So that theme would be then available to you. So if we save that as if we save that as test theme and I did a save, then that becomes one of the themes that would be available to you. Here it is, custom one, test. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about themes/designs, one and the same thing. What templates do is it carries this one step further. So I'm going to close out of this, a closed tab on my quick access toolbar. I'm not going to save it. And I'll go back to my training presentation here. So a template also has a theme, but in addition to the theme with the fonts and the colors and the graphics and so forth, it also has content, and that's what makes the template so powerful. If you've been asked to create a presentation to present a new product, so a marketing presentation, and you've not done one before, or you don't have one you like from before, instead of starting from scratch, you can do File, New, and then these are all presentations, not just a look, but content, generic content. So, and you have all of these different categories of presentations. So I can click on business, and then not only do I get business presentations here, plenty of them, because you can go out to the web and look for more. And then I have different categories of business presentations, plenty of those too. Okay, and I can say marketing, and then it gives me a whole set of marketing presentations. So let's say I want a business sales presentation. I'll pick this one. Now, they all have a theme, but in addition to a theme, they're giving you, you can scroll through and see what kind of content. And then if you decide you like that one, you can say create. And it just brings it down into your machine and does not save it yet. It's just simply as presentation 1, and you can save it if you like. So this has given you not just the design or theme, but it also has given you generic kinds of business opportunity slide, our products and services slide, cost comparison. So this one happens to have 9 different slides. It could have 19, it could have 15, it could have 10. It depends upon the presentation. Okay, so that's the benefit of working. And of course, you can delete any slide you don't need. You can add as many as you do need. You can modify anything about these. You can change the design. You can add logos. You're obviously going to change the text because it's set up in a very generic way, not to refer to anything specific. And you can add whatever slides you like. If you do modify that and you want to save this as a new template because you've created the marketing template you're using for one product and you want to use it for other products in the future, you can do a save as. Okay, and let's save it somewhere on my computer. And I'm going to save it into a place where I know it has custom office templates. That's where you want to put it. And if you're not sure where that is, you can always search for that. So I would tell it to go to custom office templates. And then the key to that is you don't want to save it as a presentation. You'd want to save it as a template, PowerPoint template. And then once you named that, okay, my marketing pres. Okay, once you save that, you would have that ability to call that up. You can, again, of course, modify it any way you want, but that would be your template, your starting point template. Okay, so now I want to talk about what Slide Master adds to all of this. So a Slide Master, and I can use this as an example, provides you first of all, every presentation has a master slide. And the master slide provides a way of setting up all of your slides so that they are consistent, or all of your different layouts. And notice when you are in a slide, there's always a layout attached to it. So it almost always starts with the title. And then if you want to see what layout you have, these are all using titles? That's weird. No. Okay, this is a title and content, which is normally the second, it's the most common one. And so, but not all, because they have here, this is a to content, and this is a to content as well. So some are used a lot, some may not be used at all within your particular slideshow. So it looks like this one is just about all title and content. Okay, so if I wanted to modify something, for instance, it looks to me kind of strange that the titles are on the bottom in this slide presentation. So I would go to the View, and then I would say Slide Master. And then you see the Slide Master set. So it's really a set of 12 layouts, typically 12 layouts, and the overall master. And the overall master is the one that controls most of the slides. And so I might want to modify the master slide, although the master looked kind of nice the way it was. Let's go to the title and content one. Okay. Where's the title and content? Yeah, here's the title of content, and this is used by most of them. So I'm going to use this as an example to say, let's put the title on the top where we'd more commonly want to see it, and let's move the text underneath it. And you can make any other kind of changes you like. And then, so we're making a change to the title and content layout of the master slide set, and it's used by 2, 3, 7, and 9. So I'm going to close out of the master view, and then I'm going to go look at 2, and you can see the titles on top, 3, but 4 hasn't changed because that wasn't a title and content. It was 7, and it was 9. So you can modify the look or change things in a particular layout, which affects certain slides. And as I said, title and content is a very common one. And then if I were to add a new title and content slide, it's going to have that new layout with the title on top. If I were to add, let's say, a comparison slide, it still has the title on the bottom. So that I'm controlling which ones I'm changing. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this one and go back to another one. So if I went in this slideshow, which has very little graphics or design to it, and I went to the master slide. Now, if I'm going to be working with master slides, what I would do is go into the View tab and put this Slide Master icon onto my quick access toolbar by doing a right click and adding it to the quick access toolbar, so I don't have to keep going back to the View tab. So I'm going to go into the Slide Master, and the one that controls most all of the slides, in some cases all, and in some cases most, depending on the template, is the overall master. Some people call it the Grid Master. So if I decided I wanted to add a logo that has to do with training, I could go to Insert, and I could go to Pictures. No, I'm not going to go to Pictures because that would be, I'm going to go to Online Pictures because I want to find something that has to do with training. And let's say I decide that I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to click on that and say Insert. So it's inserted that little training picture, and I can put it wherever I like. I can make it bigger or smaller and so forth. And I've put it on the overall master. So when I then return to the normal view, which I can do down here on my status bar, it's put it on, it didn't put it on the title slide, but it's put it on the others, as you can see. And if I add a new slide, if I add title and content, it's going to be there. And in this case, if I add blank, it's not there. And if I add a title slide, it's not there. Okay, so I'm going to delete some of these blank ones that I just added, but I just wanted to show you. In some cases, depending on the template, if you modify this overall master on top, it will affect every slide. In some cases, it does not affect things like the blank slide or the section, new section slide or the title. So it depends. Okay, so you want to, so you can, as I illustrated before, if it didn't affect the blank slide, but if I go into the blank slide, that would be blank, which is right now not being used, but I want to put something on there that I want to appear on all of them. I'll just insert a shape just to make this a point. And let's say I want a triangle over here, whatever. And then I go back to my normal view. If I then insert a new slide that is a blank, you're going to see that triangle. So I can control it by modifying the specific type of slide, the layout that I'm interested in. And you can easily find out what layout a slide is by looking at the layout up here, and it will highlight it for you. Or if you go into the slide master and you point to each one, it tells you whether it's being used by any slides or not. And if so, it tells you the number of the slides. So you can control this overall, or you can control it by the very specific slide layouts that you're modifying in the master. Okay, another very, so I'm closing out of that master view. I'm going to point to another presentation right now. No, that's the one we... That's the one. Okay, and this one has a bunch of bulleted text in it. So here we have bullets on 4, we have bullets on 6, we have bullets on 7. Now, a lot of times bullets, title and text with bullets is makes up most of your slides in some cases, and you might have 20, 30, 40 of them. If you decide you want the bullets bigger, a different color, a different design, different character, you certainly don't want to be going through 40 slides to modify the bullets. And especially if you have different level bullets, like on slide 8, level 1 and level 2, so you'd have to modify this one, then you'd modify these two, then you'd modify this one. It'd be very tedious. So instead, what you can do is modify the bullets in the slide master. So if we go to slide master and we go up to the overall master, and this is important, and we click into the first bullet, anywhere in that line will do. And then you go back to your bullet choice under the Home tab. And let's say I want these square bullets. But let's say I decide I want them a different color. So I'll go down to bullets and numbering, and I'll change the color and make them bright red. Okay, and I'm going to do a similar thing for the second level bullets. I'm going to go down to bullet numbering. I'm going to pick a bullet style. And then I'm going to say, okay, I want to make those purple or whatever, different color. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with my first and second level bullets. But I also notice, I have my ruler turned on, and I notice that the text is very close to the bullet. I decided it would look a little better if I had a little more space. So I'm going to click into that first level bullet and then use my markers on my ruler and point to the bottom triangle and move it over just a little bit to give a little more space. And I'm going to do the same thing in the second level and move over the bottom triangle a little bit. Okay, and that's what I wanted to change here. So now I'm going to go back to the normal view and notice first and second level bullets are changed on all of the bulleted slides. I think I had one more, yeah. Okay, and if I were to add another bullet, that's going to be it. And if I were to add a second level bullet, it's going to use that format. Okay. Now, if you decided for some reason that on this particular slide, you don't want the bullets to look like that, you want them to look some other way, and you went and modified the bullets, whoops, that's not what I meant to do, modified the bullets to whatever, this look, you have now disconnected that from the master. And if you modified the master bullets on the master slide, it would not affect these. Once you've formatted them individually, then you have disconnected them from the master, so to speak. Okay. Another nice feature of working with master slides is that you might want to modify the look of certain slides. So we have some two content slides here. Okay, so 7 and 8 were a couple, and I think there's a couple more. Yeah, 6, 7, and 8, for instance, are 2 content slides, and they are set up by default as the left and the right sections are equal. And what if you decide that's not the way you want them, and you're going to be adding more to content, and you want to change something about that? So you can go to the master slide, and then you can modify the layout. So here's the 2 content slide, and it even tells you when you point to it, this is slide 7 and 8. And I can say in this that I would like to make the left text area that I'm going to use for text narrower, and I'd like to make the right area wider. And maybe for whatever reason, I'd like to take the master title and change the color and make it bolder, whatever, just to make some changes and show you how that works. So now I'm going to go back to the normal view. And here's 6 and 7, and you can see that it's narrowed the look where the text is and made wider the area on the right that's being used for the pictures. And that's, I don't know if that one, yeah, that's a 2 content also. And it's changed the text, the title text to red, which is not the case in all of the others. The title text is black. So that's made the change. So we've reformulated what the particular layout looks like for this slide master set, and therefore for this presentation. Another thing you can do in the slide master is you can create your own layout and customize it to what you need. So if I go to the slide master set, if I decide that I'm going to be creating a lot of slides that have tables on them, and I would like to set up a master slide to do that, to make it easier and more consistent, I can say insert a layout. Okay, and so here's a new layout, and with that layout selected, I'm going to say, well, what placeholders do I want? It just gave me a title. So I'm going to say I want a table, and I'm going to draw an area there. I'm going to put a table in this area. All right, then I'm going to make sure I still have that selected, and I'm going to insert a placeholder for text. Maybe I'm going to put some explanatory text under the table. Okay, and if that's the way I would like, then I want to name it something. So if I click on it again, I can say rename, and I'm going to say table layout, and hit the rename. So now when I close out of the master view and I decide, okay, right in this spot, I'm going to add one of those table layout slides, and I'm going to say new slide, and here it is, table layout. And I can, you know, I don't have to have a bullet there. If I click on it and create a table, I won't have the bullet and the text and so forth. So that becomes part of this slide master, and it would make it easier for me to add if I needed 5 or 6 slides with tables in them. Okay. Another interesting way that you can work with this slide master is you can have more than one slide master set for your presentation. So for instance, if I'm using this look, this template, to introduce one product, and now I'm going to introduce at the end of the presentation another product, and I want it to have a whole different look to distinguish it. So I want to put in a different slide master so it has different graphics, color scheme, etc. So I can again go into the slide master view, and this is the set of slides that I have, set of masters, but I'm going to say here insert slide master. So it gives me a whole other set. And what I'm going to do is then pick a different theme. I'm just going to pick something that looks very different. So here's the new set of masters that is going to be available to me. So now if I close out of the master view, and I say down at the end, it could be anywhere, but I'm just saying probably you'd want to start a new section with the new look. And I want to say I want a new slide. Notice I have another set of masters. So maybe I want another title for that slide master. That's interesting that it didn't carry forward the color scheme. Very interesting.
Do that again.
Okay, so let's do a new slide. And let's say, there we go. It's interesting that it didn't do it for the title layout. There we go. Okay, I probably picked the wrong one. I didn't pick the title. Okay, so you can then, they don't have to be all in a row. You could intermix them wherever you wanted, but that would probably look a little strange. So you can have as many slide master sets as part of your presentation as you like, and you know, call them up as you like. When you say new slide, they'll all be available to you, which is very interesting. So that's a little bit about Slide Master. We also have an ability to indicate in the view a Handout Master and a Notes Master for much the same reason. If you're going to be handing out notes to people and you have a master for the notes, notes would be for yourself, and you have that master for yourself. You can modify the master view so that the notes are bigger and bolder, that sort of thing. So if you did that and you said, okay, I want this to be bold, I want it to be bigger, I want it to be italics, whatever you wanted, that would then modify what the notes looked like. So then you could go back to your normal view, and I did put a couple of notes on some of them for illustrative purposes. Yeah, like this one has some notes. So if we raise this up, yeah, so that made it bigger. So it's easier for you to look at them if you change what the modification. You modify how they are looking. And the same thing if you wanted to print out handouts, for instance, 3 to a page, and you wanted to print out the handouts, it would be nice if you could put the company name, the date, who presented, that sort of information. It has page numbering there, but it doesn't have the other information. If you could put that sort of information. So you could also, in the view, go to the Handout Master and then say, you know, ABC Corp or something, whatever the company is, and then you could put in the date. It actually has that here. And but if you wanted the date to be consistent, let's say you were giving it on July 20th, you wanted it to say that, you could do that. And then you could also say there's a footer. And in the footer, in addition to the page numbering, you might want to put some text like presented by you know, Ann Wilson or whatever. Okay, and then when you close out of the master view, if you go to print and you look at the handouts page, you'll see there's the company name, there's the static date, and there's the person who's giving it and the page numbering, so that would be handy. So that's a little bit about master views and how you can use them to make your presentations more consistent, and how you can save a lot of time when you're creating large presentations. If there are any questions, you can
Go to the chat.
Go to the chat and let me know.
And in the meantime, we're going to be taking the month of August off, and then we'll start back up in September. So we'll post that on uscomputer.com as well as computertrainingsolutions.biz. So you can take a look at that. And this will also be available on both of those websites as well. Well, since there's no questions, I think we're good to go. And have a great day, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.